If you're thinking about making the move to the Indian Trail area of South Charlotte, well, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to share the good and bad, pros and cons of living in the Indian Trail area. So stick around because we're going to jump right in and get started. One of the popular areas that we hear about all the time, especially in Union County, is Indian Trail, which is why we're going to talk about the pros and cons today. But Indian Trail is located just south of Matthews and Mint Hill, and just north of Monroe, east of Weddington. So it's right in the central Union County area. One of the big pros about the Indian Trail area, as I'm mentioning, is the location. 74 runs right through Indian Trail, which gives you easy access to uptown and south into more rural areas of the Union County area. So you do have that mix of rural and more of the urban areas that are really mixed within Indian Trail. So you've got a great location, like I mentioned, to be able to get to all of the activities, amenities, recreation of uptown, and easily be able to be outside of all of that activity in Indian Trail and Union County. Quick intermission. This is Steve Gerald with the Longleaf Group, and if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe so you'll be the first to know as we release new videos all the time about what it's like to live in the South Charlotte areas just like Indian Trail. We absolutely love helping and working with people just like you every single day that have questions and want to learn more about the community and what it's like to live here. So make sure you reach out and message us. We'll jump on a Zoom, answer any questions, and help people just like you. So with all that said, let's jump back in. One of my favorite pros of the Indian Trail area is definitely that it is a very community-focused town. And by that, I mean there's always something going on, from an event or different parades or seasonal activities, whether it's at one of their parks at Crooked Creek Park or Chestnut Square Park, or just different events that they announce, whether it's on social media or through the town. One of my favorites is Touch a Truck, which is just a really cool event. I have a 4 and a 6-year-old, so we're taking part in the activities that are going on, and we live in Weddington, so there's activities there in Indian Trail. We love Chestnut Square Park. That's definitely a pro, and they're continuing to grow Chestnut Square Park, as you can see in our diagram from the town of Indian Trail. They're almost doubling the park and adding walking trails. There's the playground, there's additional areas for walking in addition to what they're expanding on in Chestnut Square Park. Just a beautiful park, great location, right next to Indian Trail Road, as we'll talk about shortly. But just a lot of things going on for whether it's families or individuals that are just really driven from within the town of Indian Trail. We've talked about communities, and if you haven't seen some of the videos that we've talked about, areas like Waxhaw, Matthews, Pineville, cities or towns that have really nice downtowns, that's not the case in Indian Trail. As you drive through what could be perceived as the downtown area, it's very dated. There isn't a feel of a downtown because there really isn't one. Now, as we'll talk about here in a second, one of the exciting things is they absolutely have plans and are underway of developing what I think is going to be one of the bright spots of Union County with the downtown and Indian Trail. But currently, you drive through and it's clear that the buildings and things that were put up weren't really zoned, or there wasn't a plan for developing a downtown. And it's just a mismatch of buildings of no real historical relevance, which is what the town has essentially said as they're developing the plans for their new downtown, that it's going to be new as opposed to towns like Matthews that have really preserved some of that historical value that's there already, which is very unique to Matthews and some of the other areas around Charlotte. Indian Trail has the ability to really develop a new, exciting downtown driven by new developments and that is underway. So the pro to the lack of a downtown is those plans are there to develop them, and we're going to talk about that here coming up next about where are we with the downtown that's coming for Indian Trail. While it's definitely not a short-term project that's going to be complete in the next year or two, it is definitely in the works, which is laying the foundation for a downtown Indian Trail. Currently, the town is in the process, and they've just kicked off what they're calling Project Complete Street, which is Indian Trail Road, which will be the true downtown for Indian Trail. They're going to lay down the foundation, which includes the utilities, not necessarily sidewalks, because these are going to be big enough for bikes and pedestrians at the same time on these paths on each side of the road, and laying what will be where investment can come into the new downtown, whether it's commercial development, residential structures, mixed development. They are laying out all of the zoning requirements, the setbacks, all of those things that a true downtown needs to have all of the uniformity of a downtown and really exciting for people to live, work, and play. And that's all going to be an Indian Trail. It's going to take time to get those development projects in, which the town's very excited to partake in. And that's really what you want in a town, which is the vision for where they're going. And Indian Trail has it. It's going to take time for current owners of facilities to sell. And so all of that's going to take time. But if you're a current resident or someone looking to move into the area, it's exciting because you're going to have that growth, appreciation in Indian Trail. There's just not a set date for when everything's going to be completed. So while it's not there right now, it's going to be there. It's definitely a pro for Indian Trail moving into the future. Definitely a con of the Indian Trail area compared to some of the other Union County towns or locations would be the rankings of the schools in Indian Trail. There's all different rankings, whether it's greatschools.org or whatever the case may be. But when you're looking at Sun Valley High School versus Weddington High School or Cuthbertson or Marvin Ridge, it's not rated as highly as those schools. And that's definitely going to be a con if that is an important check mark for you, which is obviously very important to a lot of families and students. So that's going to be a con comparing those if you're comparing apples to apples. But a big pro is that your cost of living and your price of homes in Indian Trail are very attractive comparing to those areas as well. So your cost for single family homes, the median price in Indian Trail is only but $439,000. If you're comparing in Matthews, you're looking at $525,000, and looking at Waxhaw, you are looking at $665,000. So you've got that margin there of those areas that are not far from Indian Trail. And as we talked about with some of the development coming up, you've got a very strong chance of appreciation in those areas historically for areas within Union County and Charlotte as well. But cost of living, very attractive. And then looking at the amount of appreciation that we're going to see in the area is very strong as well. In addition to more affordable housing options in the Indian Trail area as opposed to some of the others that we've discussed, there are some great communities in Indian Trail. One that sticks out is the Brandon Oaks community, which is right in the heart of Indian Trail, and you've got homes that are priced right in the $400,000 to $500,000 range on average in between there. And you've got close to 1,300 homes in this community with the number of amenities from the pool. You've got multiple pools, actually, clubhouse, a beautiful drive when you go into the community, tree-lined sidewalks to homes that were built anywhere from the late 90s to mostly their growth was in the mid 2005, 2006 timeframe when those homes are built. And Brandon Oaks, like I said, from an affordability standpoint in Union County, has a lot to offer. And it's just one of those communities I like to highlight when someone's focused on looking in Indian Trail. And there are a few others in the area that also stick out from an affordability standpoint. So we'd like to look at, what are the homes like? What's the appreciation like? And Brandon Oaks has had all of those as well. Similar to a lot of areas in the Union County, unless you're living in Uptown or South End or some of those areas closer to Uptown, you're not going to have a true nightlife. And by that, you're not going clubbing or doing some of those activities that'll keep you out at night. But in Indian Trail, they've developed what's the Sun Valley Commons. That's a really well developed it's been over the past 10 years it's been developed, that it's where you've got shopping, you've got a movie theater. One of my favorite places to go is the Trail House, which has drinks. You've got great food, great entertainment going on there, and just walkable shops in the Sun Valley Commons that you do have those shopping options. And like I mentioned before, with the new downtown, when that is developed, you're going to have even more of that coming to Indian Trail. But you do have options in the area that are really nice. But if you're looking for a true nightlife, move a little closer to Uptown or South End or Dilworth or areas like that have that energy going on that Indian Trail does not. So with all the pros and cons of living in an area like Indian Trail, it definitely comes into play of what's most important to you, whether it's schools, location, things to do, affordability. All of those things come into play, and Indian Trail has a lot of development, and that's probably the biggest thing to take away is the development for the community is definitely on the horizon. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So if you have questions or if you want to learn more about Indian Trail, the surrounding South Charlotte area, I'm Steve Gerald with the Longleaf Group, and I absolutely love working with people just like you every single day. So definitely reach out. Love to jump on a Zoom, email, call. We absolutely love it. So with all of that said, if you have any questions, reach out. Until next time, we will see you then.